I'm the big man, attorney Joey Franks with Big Man Law here in Jackson, Mississippi. You can see we got a little different setup than we normally do. I'm actually at my office today as opposed to the office at the house. We are in downtown Jackson, so if you hear honking or loud things, welcome to the metropolis of Mississippi. Now, today we're going to be with Judge Middleton, so we're not going to be in Mississippi, needless to say, as far as the video goes. And it's an interesting one. Take a look and we'll talk about it here in just a second.
All right, Mr. Barnes, let me find this file. I wish these would go in my queue. It'd save me a lot of time.
I just didn't know what was I just was in court that Thursday.
Yeah, you were just here on traffic matters on the 5th.
Right, and then I'm walking.
Just a minute. Let me get up to speed. The story of my life. The world's going 65 and I'm going about 50. Maybe less. All right, this is file number 241399SM, Larry Donnell Barnes. Mr. Barnes is charged with domestic violence second offense for alleged assault from July 27th on Shamika Sanders. They got her name spelled wrong in here, but it's Sanders. You posted a bond and you have bond conditions that you're not to use any alcohol, you're not to have any contact with Miss Sanders or her son, Mr. Sergey, no weapons and no assaultive behavior, and you were supposed to be on pretrial supervision. You pled guilty. Judge Patterson's notes are sometimes hard for me to determine. You pled guilty to MDOP. Sentence is set for October 15th, just like the last guy. The bond conditions, they allege that you were at South Main Shell at about 1:45 on Saturday night. Mr. Barnes was intoxicated. He admitted he'd been drinking. The officer was Matt Britton. You wanted to impress on him that you wanted to beat his ass, and you were taken into custody for violation of bond conditions for being drunk and disorderly while you're on bond pending sentence. Your attorney is Luke Knopfinger. He's not available on this short of notice. Jeanette Jackson is here from the public defender office. Are you still living on 8th Street?
Yes, sir.
All right. I cut you off a couple of times. What did you want to say?
One thing is, it seemed like since he took me to jail for this domestic trial, it seemed like they just harassing me now. I wasn't drunk at all. I just was going to the store to get something to drink, but I wasn't drunk.
So you told him you wanted to beat his ass, but you weren't even drunk?
Because they steady harassing me, man. They steady harassing me. It seemed like after this few times that they grabbed me, you made me pay $100 the first time they grabbed me. I'm like, okay. Yeah, and after this, every time we getting in, and that's like going back and forth with each other. And I'm like, what y'all keep harassing me for? Why y'all keep running up on me? You know?
Well, Mr. Barnes, let me just say, I don't believe you. He admitted to drinking. He had a strong odor of intoxicants and he was extremely intoxicated. And you're saying you weren't drinking. you're going there to get something to drink. You have a bond condition that says you're not supposed to drink.
I'm not.
So I don't know anything beyond that. I'm gonna set up a bond violation hearing. Or accelerated sentence. The domestic violence charge against Ms. Sanders apparently got dismissed. You pled to a malicious destruction of property charge. With Rhonda Ives, your attorney, no, with Luke Knopfinger.
And all I'm trying to
Both
do
of these cases were set for October 15th, but both of these are probably going to get moved ahead. What else did you want to say?
I was just trying to get my affairs together for when I do have to come do whatever I need to do for these cases, man. I want to try to.
Well, I don't disagree with that. Anyway, your bond's canceled. What they will do when Judge Pattison gets back, hopefully tomorrow, they'll meet with Luke Knopfinger, see if they can get a hearing this week. But this isn't good. Threatening to beat the officer up, being drunk at 2 o'clock in the morning when you're on a bond pending sentence. So we'll just either move the sentence up or have a PV hearing and then do the sentence. But we'll let your attorney know that you're in custody, and we'll set this hearing as soon as we can. All right. You're good to go.
All right, if you're still with us and you haven't subscribed, you need to go ahead and do that because you clearly like what we're putting out. Also, if at any point you have a thought that comes to mind, put it in the comments. I read those as often as I can. It's a really great way to entertain myself when I am waiting for my case to be called. Now, this guy has a domestic violence charge. That is one of the most hardcore misdemeanors you could get down here. Now, he pleads to a malicious destruction of property charge. I've never heard of that. We don't have a malicious destruction of property charge that could be moved over from a domestic violence in Mississippi. I don't know a prosecutor that would do that. Now, we have malicious mischief would be the closest thing we have to it. And we have a misdemeanor version and a felony version, but I don't know a prosecutor that would let you make that plea deal, and it sounds like he's got one heck of a deal going. And he's out on bond waiting for his sentencing hearing, which is also odd. It would seem like they'd go ahead and sentence him at that time, or maybe they wanted to watch him and see what he did for a little while. And one of the conditions of his bond is you don't drink. It doesn't say you don't get drunk. It says you don't drink, according to what the judge is saying. So this guy crosses the line, and he is going to get beer, and he wants to open up a can of whoop ass on a police officer, apparently. So he gets really sideways with the police officer, and guess what? He ends up back in jail, and that's what we're seeing today. They got him in front of the judge really quickly, quick enough that his lawyer couldn't be there, which is a real possibility. For example, if I'm on the coast in Jackson County and one of my clients gets in trouble in Hinds County and they have some kind of hearing the next day, or that day, excuse me, I can't pull that off. It's just impossible. So I understand that his attorney isn't there, and it sounds like his attorney has good cause for not being there. That's the legal term that they would use. If you ever heard of a show cause order, in some cases you have to show good cause, which is a different level. It jacks it up a little bit. But this guy may have gotten himself in a big pickle. I don't know what disorderly conduct would carry. In Mississippi, he would be looking up at 6 months in jail and $500 fine, and that's on top of the domestic violence charge that had just gotten bumped down to a malicious destruction of property charge. So this guy seems to be screwing the pooch, and frankly, sounds like he's got a little bit of anger issues. So it'd be really interesting to see what Judge Middleton ends up doing on him. I hope we can get a hold of the video of the sentencing on that. But if we can't, I'm sorry. If we can, it's going to be a fun one. We try not to show you the same videos that other folks are doing. We want you to have fairly new content. I understand it's impossible not to have some overlap. But if you ever see a video that you would like to comment on, drop us a line and say, hey, I'd really like to see this video, and send us a link to it, and we'll absolutely go explore that. Not a problem in the world. I should have some good content coming up. It's going to be a little bit different than this court video. I actually represented a man, and we have had 2 trials on his case. And as of yesterday, judge signed an order dismissing all of his charges after trial. So we won. And I would really like to explore that in detail and walk through how we did that and things along those lines. He's given me permission to share the order, so it's not like I'm violating any kind of privilege or anything like that. Anytime I talk about a client and I give you a specific name or anything, I have explicit authority from that person to share that. So once we get that, I'll make that video, and that should be a fun one. I really enjoyed working this individual's file, and it was a lot of work, but we got him a really great outcome. And again, we'll walk through that on another video. In the meantime, I hope you have a great day and a great weekend. That's what's coming up. I'm assuming we'll get this video out before the weekend so you can enjoy it, and look forward to seeing y'all in the next one.